Hello, my friends. Welcome to our blending lesson today. Today is February 10th, and it is Unit 3, Week 4, where we are going to practice some of those long vowels that we've been learning about in Unit 3. This week, we are introducing the O blankie, the long O sound, the U blankie, which makes that long U sound, like you hear in cube, and the E blankie, which makes that long E sound that you hear in the word tree. All right, so let's do our high frequency words first. Make sure you're focused, paying attention, repeating and practicing the words to help you really remember them. Some: today, why, away, now, way, green, grow, pretty, should, together, water, once, from, upon, so, any, happy, how, old, girl, boy, people, ago, every, by, done, work, soon, and after. Fix that one. All right. So let's get started with our blending. Of course, try to make sure you're focused and you're paying attention. Definitely going to help you learn all that you can about these new sounds. All right, our first word, these. Your turn. Z, E, Z. These. These. Are these your shoes or your brother's shoes? So, TH, remember those are together and they say the th, like the thumb card. E blankie, that long E sound like tree. That extra E tells the E to stop saying F. Now you have to say E. And S says S, E's, these. So this is kind of one word where the S kind of sounds like a Z. All right, next word. Homes, your turn. Ha, O, ms. Homes. So homes means more than one home. H says huh. O blankie, long O sound. Remember that E just tells the O, you better stop making ah. Now it's time to make E. Huh, O. M says huh, O, home. So the word was homes. So that means more than one home. So in order to make that plural, we add an S. And of course, when you blend it, you have to say that S. Otherwise, it's not the word. Homes. Homes. Next word. Used. Your turn. Used. Used. Like I used that pencil. And used has that U blankie like cube, U, S, so use, use. So use is a high frequency word, I think I said that before. Use is a high frequency word and it's not normally one that we can sound out, but now that we have that long U in our pocket, we can sound it out. And this word, use, is like you're going to use something. I'm going to use that pencil. Like it hasn't happened yet. But if the word was used, and so that means that it happened in the past. I already used that marker. I don't need the red marker because I already used it. Thank you for sharing your markers with me. Used, used. Next word, rose. Your turn. O, Z. Rose, like a beautiful rose. R says O blankie, boat card, makes that long O sound. S says O's, rose. All right, let's go ahead and read our first line. These homes used rose. Your turn. Wonderful. Thank you so much for practicing those skills. Good idea. All right, next word. Spoke. Your turn. Spa. O. K. Spoke. Spoke. SP, you put that S and P together. Spa. Spa. And if you're sounding the word out, spa o, spa aw. Oh wait, there's an E, so I have to say O. Spa o. K says ka. Spa oak. Spoke. Next word. Mule. Your turn. U-ol. Mule. So a mule is a type of, it's like a horse, but it's a tiny one. M says U blanky, like the cube card says U. U. L says ol. U. Ol. Mule. And next word. Cut. Your turn. Ka. T. Cut. So in the word cut, I hear short U. Regular U. What we think of as the U sound. Ka. T says ta. Ka. T. Cut. But if I add an E to this word, it's going to make a totally different word, because the E that we're going to add is going to tell that U, it no longer says now it has to say U. So C says ka. U blank E says long U. Ka U. Without the E, ka. With the E, ka U. T says ta. Ka U. Cute. So without the E, the word's cut. Ka. As soon as that E comes along, it flips, it turns into a totally different word. Next word. Rod. Your turn. D. Rod. So notice when we said rod, we hear like octopus. So we hear regular O, short O. So R says O says D says da. Odd. Rod. So there's no E here, which means that the O is short. It says Soon as we add an E there, it changes the meaning. It becomes a whole different word. So rod is like, it's like a stick or some kind of pole, like a fishing rod. But if we add an E to that word, R says O blank E says O, like the boat card. O. Now it's no longer Okay, this is Add an E, O. And D says da, ode, road. So without the E, short O. Odd, rod. With the E, long O. Ode, road. And it's an entirely different word. Like I rode my bike. Next word. Stone. Your turn. Sta. O. Stone. Stone. S-T. Sta. Sta. O blank E, long O, sta, O. And says sta, O, stone. All right, and last word. Hole. Your turn. Hua, O, ul, whole, whole. So this word whole is with a WH. Okay? WH says wa. We've got O blank E there. Wa, O, whoa. L says whole. Wa, ol, whole. Now, this is, let's see, if we take the W off, it's H-O-L-E. And that's like a hole in the ground. With the W-H there, it changes the meaning. It still kind of sounds the same, spelled a little differently, and it changes the meaning. So, whole with the W means that all of something. Like, I ate that whole pizza. That was a whole medium pizza, and I was so hungry, I ate that whole thing. All right. So, let's go ahead. We'll read our second and third line. Spoke, mule, cut, cute. Your turn. Thank you. Rod, road, stone, hole. Your turn. Wonderful. Okay. So let's do sentence. S-T, sta, sta. E blank E, long E says E, sta, E. V says V, sta, Eve, Steve. Oh look, Steve's back. He was in our sentence yesterday. Yesterday he smelled some smoke with his nose. I wonder what Steve will do today. S-M, sma, sma. E says eh, because it doesn't have its buddy E. So unless it's E blank E, it's just gonna say the eh sound, the short sound. Smell. Steve, smell? That doesn't quite sound right. I'm going to make this word smells. Steve smells. Steve smells. Okay, it looks like Steve is smelling something today as well. Steve smells. A. R says O, aw. Oh no, wait, later in the word there's an E, so now it's flipped and says O. O. S says S, O's, rose. Steve smells a rose. High frequency word with, which by the way we can now sound out because we have TH as one of our back pocket skills. With. Steve smells a rose with his and says O blank E, long O sound. S says O's, nose. Let's read our sentence. Steve smells a rose with his nose. Your turn. All right, awesome. And of course he would smell a rose with his nose. You don't smell something with your fingers. All right. We need some punctuation. So for this sentence, I'm going to use a period. I think this is just a regular sentence. You wouldn't necessarily need to say this with oomph. So it just gets a period. Let's do some nouns and verbs. So just like yesterday, Steve is a noun. Steve is a person. Okay. And what is Steve doing? He is smelling. So that makes smell our what? All right. I saw some lips going there. Our verb. That is what Steve is doing. He smells. All right. So Steve smells a what? He smells a rose. A rose is something you can touch. So that means it's a noun. It's a thing. All right. Steve smells a rose with his nose. His just like yesterday in our sentence about Steve, our pronoun was the word he. Our pronoun in this sentence is the word his. And so we talked about how a pronoun is just a word that takes the place of a noun. So Steve smells a rose with his nose. Instead of the word his, you could put the word Steve's. Steve smells a rose with Steve's nose. Now that's a correct sentence. Doesn't really make a ton of sense because Steve smells a rose with Steve's nose. Of course he does. Steve's not going to smell anything with anybody else's nose, so it just sounds better to have the word his. All right, and one more noun, the word nose. It's a thing. It's something you can touch. All right, excellent. Thank you so much for your focus and participation. We'll see you later.